What's going on, and welcome back to the Scoped podcast for episode 108 with my longtime buddies, the actual first band I ever had on the podcast back in spring of 2017, the Ides of June. Y'all give it up for the Ides of June. And it's been a while since I was able to sit down and talk with them. I'm so happy to have them back on. They've gone through a couple lineup changes, but the lineup's been set for, Austin, you said the last 2 years, right? That's when y'all played your first show all together. Dusty, do you feel like this is a solid lineup where the Ides of June are going to carry this lineup into the future?
Definitely. Eli, how long you been in the band? Four years?
5 years.
5 years?
Yeah.
So
6 years?
Drummers have been the most difficult thing to keep in the band.
Drummers are always the most difficult to keep in a band.
First one we kicked out, the second one wanted to tour more and all that good stuff. And Austin loves the band and he loves the music and he's really dedicated. And them two have been playing together since they were like 3 or something, 5. So
We've known
I
each
feel
other
good about
25 years, yeah.
We're all on the same page as far as what kind of music we want to make. We've written a few songs together already that we should release this year. So really stoked about the future for sure.
Well, that's your intro. We're here at Freedom Brew and Shine, new sponsors of the Scope podcast. Really cool things going on here. They got axe throwing, they got an arcade, they got a gun range, fun zone for the kids. Nothing better.
Christian bookstore?
Christian bookstore right next to your gun range.
Bowling alley?
Bowling alley, nothing better than to
bowling
be
alley?
able to drink beer and have a place for your kids to play. So check it out here in Cumming, Georgia. We love Freedom Brew and Shine so much. Thank them for sponsoring the podcast. We got a great food truck here, Williams Street Food, that they always have. Amazing food trucks here, great entertainment. So this is it. We're doing it. This is the next phase, the next level of the podcast. Episode 108 with the Ides of June starts now. Step into my world. I'm psyched. Let's go.
Now you're turning into the Scope Podcast.
And welcome to episode 108 of the Scope Podcast. I'm your host, Jackson Heaton, Atlanta's rock ambassador. And after a 3-year hiatus because of COVID, the podcast, I was like, I need to bring it back. The scene needs a rejuvenation. Not that the scene's bad right now. It's just bands aren't as close as they used to be in the scene. You don't have bands like going supporting shows at Smith's Old Bar, and then the band's going to Star Bar to catch the late show. And when I saw that, I was a little pissed. I mean, I just didn't understand why bands were coming in and why bands were getting started and not taking the time to get to know other bands that were playing in the scene, going and supporting shows or supporting merch. Have y'all seen the same thing?
Most definitely. My problem is I had 2 kids.
That's why this episode is called...
I didn't personally have them.
I think it's also because during COVID, a lot of the bands broke up. So, we've been playing around town since 2014, and we've made friends with a lot of bands. And then once COVID happened, you lose these people, then they stop playing, and then you kind of have to start new relationships with other people. So it's coming back though. We have a good time at Star Bar, and
no, it's definitely coming back now, but they're for like in 2024, especially in 2023, it was
dead
like that. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
of course,
there's a lot of new bands that have come out in the past year that are really kick ass. They're like, fuck, they're great. And it's like, damn, like we've been playing, we met, Eli and I are in another band together, and that's how we first met Dusty and the original lineup of the Ides of June. We're playing in EAV at the Union. It was 2017, and so that back then there was a whole different lineup of bands playing regularly in Atlanta in 2017.
Yeah.
The Buzzards,
There were
around,
yeah.
Light Machines. The
Your
Stars,
intro
who
song,
weren't
that
allowed.
band is no more.
Greco.
Greco was
they're
around.
gone.
Everybody did
RIP.
support each other, and even if you didn't have someone coming out or your audience coming out, you typically did have, at least 5 to 10 people from bands coming
Oh,
out,
yeah.
which you don't see anymore. And we do some venue shows, but we've started doing shows like we did last night, where it was half covers, half originals, 3-hour gigs, which pay a good bit better than the ticketed venue gigs most of the time.
Well, this episode is called 3.5 Men because we got 3 dads on stage and then a man who is
I'm the half?
You're the half because you actually get to have a weekend.
Yeah.
You actually get to enjoy your St.
I
Patrick's
got a weekend
Day.
every day,
He talks to me about video games. I'm like, I don't remember those.
We don't have time to play video games.
No, we put kids down, and then it's 8:30, and it's like, what do I want to do? I guess I'll get my stuff ready and
Watch The Golden
go lay
Bachelor.
down.
Hey, my wife and I have our trash TV shows we watch at the end of the day. You know, the trash reality TV. I got addicted to it. I can't help it. Like Big Brother, I wait for that every year. The newest Love Is Blind. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Oh, my wife watches it, and I'm like sitting there trying to sleep, and I'm just like cringy. I can't do it. But she Love Is Blind, The Bachelor. It's like she loves reality TV too, and it's like any kind of drama anymore. I'm like, oh God, I don't need
Makes
any
him
more
anxious.
drama. I got anxiety.
Well, Austin got introduced to parenting with 2 at once versus we had 1 and then a second. No, his forte into parenting was 2 right off the bat.
Yep.
So Austin,
Immediately.
what
Was
was
that
Yeah.
last stitch healed?
what was it like trying to play in 2 bands and having twins?
Well, it's something that my wife and I have always said from the beginning of time together that, I am a musician. It's not a hobby. It's a profession. I treat the bands that I'm in like a business. It's fun. It's with people that you love playing music with. But at the same time, when you get to a certain age, you have to treat them as a business because hobbies can go, but businesses you want to be invested in. So she knew that I was not going to stop, but I also respected the fact that yes, I know I have to be a dad and be there. So I took a little break. What was it, 2 weeks?
It was like 2 months.
I took. We did have a really good show. We did have a good show opening up at what was it? It was in Winder.
Innovation Amphitheater.
Yeah, we were opening for that Skinner tribute band. So I was like, that's a cool venue. Can I go play that? And then I won't play anymore for a few weeks. Is that cool? So I did that, and then I didn't play anymore for a few weeks. But like Dusty said, having kids and it's a playing gigs that pay. It makes it worthwhile. And while there is still the love of music in it, when you have the responsibility of kids and a wife that's like, I'm home with them all day long.
Oh yes, at least if you're bringing home a couple $100, it's like okay, cool. You're not just out with the boys.
You're not just out
coming
drinking
in.
free beer, playing music.
Yeah, and taking care of 2 kids is a lot of damn work,
yeah.
And it's like my wife was home last night with the kids, and then I was like, "See ya, I'm going to do the podcast." And it's like, sorry, but same conversation. It's like my wife wanted kids, and it was like, I'm not going to quit playing music. So there's no time. I don't get to go hang out with the dudes. This is my hanging out with the dudes. You know what I mean? Like boys' night is
Tuesday night.
playing music, and then Tuesday we got practice. So we had fun with that too. So
Eli's like, I need to have a kid so I can join this conversation. He's like,
no,
I'm good.
Wait
I'm
as long
good.
as you can.
I got home last night and played Skyrim. It was great.
Austin and
I got home and went through baby clothes.
Austin and Dusty, has being a dad changed y'all or influenced you as musicians and the way you play, the way you write?
I would say for me, writing, I'm working on, Sturgill Simpson wrote a whole album dedicated to his son whenever he first had a son. It was a concept album, and it was amazing. So I've started writing a couple songs that are like about my kids, but it's definitely influenced my lifestyle to where I'm not doing the rock and roll things that I was doing beforehand.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know.
I don't deeper to that.
I don't know what this podcast is rated, but I like to party. But I don't party anymore because it's hard to be a good dad and
A partier.
Yeah, it's like
Partiers and good parents don't always go together.
no, they can't.
You can party hard if you want, but you your kids are going to be up.
Your kids are going to be up at 6 or 7 in the morning, and if you're going to bed at 3 or 4, that's going to be hard. And if you're going to stay in the bed and have your wife doing stuff, then you're a piece. So it's like, it's better for sure. I love it way more. I get way more out of waking up with my kids than I do
There's
staying up
nothing.
late.
It only takes one time as a parent to have a hangover and kids waking you up.
Oh, dude.
It only takes one time of that for that to be the worst experience of your life. to be woken up, kids crying and you're hungover. That's like the one and done.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I do it about every weekend, but it's not near as bad as it used to.
I gotta
be.
wake up and take my dogs out.
What about you, Austin?
What?
Writing and
Well, I don't really write any songs personally, but yeah, just in my efforts in playing music, it's a lot more intentional. Just it's a lot. There's a lot more, like I said before, just intention and commitment behind it to make it work. Because if you're going to be invested in it, then make it work.
It almost makes you work harder because
Right.
you do have kids, you do have people to provide for, and it drives you
I'm
a
a
little
business. I own my own business now, so I work for myself, and I use music as a way to escape and have a good time, but also to provide an income for the house. So yeah, it does. It makes playing a lot more. What do you want to say? Worth it.
Well, the Ides of June, y'all are not only one of the best bands in the Atlanta rock scene that I've come across in the last several years, you're one of the more consistent. So when COVID happened, what kept y'all as staying? Because like we said before, so many bands broke up, so many bands had disagreements that led to their breakup, or they couldn't do this or that. So what kept y'all consistent during COVID and after?
So I'd like to first say that I gave COVID to this guy at band practice. I was like, we were like trying to get back into rehearsal, and I was like, here, just hit my cigarette. And I kind of felt like shit. And then he hit a cigarette, and then I texted him like 2 days later. I was like, I got COVID, and I didn't even think about it. And then 2 days later, he was like,
Sick.
son of a bitch.
But to your question, I think it's just our lifestyle. I mean, it's even when COVID happened, it's not going to stop us from doing it. We just had to chill for a little bit. Even though we were supposed not to hang out, we still hung out, behind closed drapes. But
We did take some time because everybody had to, because it was like sheltering in place. It just, if you were essential, you would go work. We wrote a song about COVID. It's called Essential on our last album. Just because it was difficult, we had to put off putting out our album for a while. We were looking for a label at the time. I was talking to a couple, or at least one solid label consistently, and then when COVID happened, that just fell apart. Because you couldn't, labels couldn't provide shows for their own people, so they weren't trying to sign anybody. So it definitely affected us, but yeah, as soon as it was you could get a vaccine, or like he said, we were still hanging out.
we also just
whatever
went
we
to
needed
places that weren't so strict.
Yeah.
North Georgia.
They were like, look the other way. They're like,
Find the loophole.
there's always a loophole. That's funny because I had the Last Chance Writers on the last episode, and y'all said y'all had been talking to some labels going into COVID. They broke up for a while because they had a 22-day Europe trip planned, to go play all over Europe, and then it fell apart because of COVID, and the band went on a hiatus because of that.
Yeah, it's funny you said that. We actually did the Peach Jam podcast, and they were literally recorded.
I know.
before
I was
us.
shocked to see them coming out.
We were loading in the loading
So they-
dock, and they were coming out of the
So they
loading
did the
dock.
Peach Jam podcast right before us, and then we came on, and they did the Scope podcast right before us, and they came on. And we've known them forever. And I think Jesse was out of the band for a while, and then in the band, and then it looks like they got a different drummer now, I think, which it happens.
Died in a terrible gardening accident.
Austin,
But-
watch out.
Hey, Spinal Tap 2 is coming out this
No
summer.
way.
Yes, it is, dude. I saw that last night, and I am pumped about it. And
Spinal
what's
Tap
dope
2.
is that the logo is Stonehenge, so they use Stonehenge as the 2. It's dope. Do what?
I don't know how we had a Spinal
That's
Tap
funny.
Commercial.
plug in there.
Yeah, someone called Spinal Tap and let them know.
He
we
made
got
a
them
Spinal
their
Tap
first
reference,
commercial
and
for
so
us.
that's why I said Spinal Tap 2 is coming.
But yeah, COVID was crazy. I mean, it was crazy for all of us, and it's never going to be over. But at least we're not having to live through that again.
Well, as I said with a couple of the last bands, the scene, it did have quite a momentum going into COVID, like 2018, 2019. I mean, bands were playing every other night. You could
Oh, we
go-
were on a roll.
We were supposed to play
you
a gig.
were all over the place.
I was supposed to play a gig at 529 when the day it got shut down, March 18th.
Really?
Him and
Dude,
his other
that-
band, yeah.
I made
the
a
day
bunch
that
of
they shut the doors. Yeah.
Whenever it was COVID, was so sick.
Oh,
when it
wow.
got canceled, I was so sad.
Sick, literally. Ugh.
No, a lot of people had, the scene had, are y'all having inside jokes right
No,
now?
he said it was sick, literally COVID. He makes jokes.
this side of the longer we go and the more of these that we drink, this end of the table will get more ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just go because he doesn't have any responsibilities.
Nope, I don't.
He just, look at him. Look at that smile on his face. He's got.
And
no
he
kids.
influences my inhibitions, so we're gonna,
I'm an enabler.
You need to have a kid.
No, I don't. I got 2 dogs.
They're going to have
They're gonna have a kid. They're gonna push one out. I wanted to talk to y'all about the Warsaw Clinic. So Eli and Austin are in a band called the Warsaw Clinic, and are y'all? Is that band still?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
They just had a.
we just
they
put an
had-
EP out
they just put
on Valentine's Day.
We went there. It was almost a sold out show at Star Bar.
You like some of the posts, Jackson?
This guy, he just sees the account and goes, "Fuck the content." I know those guys. Double tap. Keep scrolling. Oh, I know those guys. I'm not have time to read it, but double tap. I'm here. Keep scrolling.
There's the Warsaw Clinic.
Exactly. That's
I
what
get
happened.
it.
No, yeah, we put an EP out on Valentine's Day, and yeah, we had a show.
It's great.
Going back to what you were saying about other bands coming out and supporting music and stuff. At that show, I stood at the door. It was a coincidence. I was standing at the front door of Star Bar, and at one time there was about 10 people that came in the door that I knew, and about 6 of them were musicians in other Atlanta bands, and I was like,
Nice.
I was there.
sweet.
I was
Dusty was
there.
there. Alex was there. There were
Nick was there?
yeah, Nick was
plays
there.
with
The
Hughes
old
Taylor
drummer
now.
for the Ides of June was there. Brandon from Rare Birds was there.
You know, something we were joking about the other night. Dusty, y'all unfortunately never played that because it only lasted 4 shows. The 4 Seasons.
4 seasons, 4
Y'all wanna-
shows.
if y'all
You
wanna
got
hear about
4
the
shows out of that?
Seasons.
You got 4 shows out of that?
Yeah.
We were the first one, right?
Yeah, because we learned after y'all, and the other 3 were singer-songwriters.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised they did not can that, dude.
So
That was a yeah. So Jackson in the beginning stages of this asked us to come play on the upper patio rooftop of the 4 Seasons in downtown Atlanta. But they said we want a classic rock band, so books a classic rock band. What they meant was Jimmy Buffett and James Taylor. What they got was Led Zeppelin and Sabbath and that kind of
let
stuff.
me
So
paint,
they were
let
not.
me paint the picture for you. Austin did a great job there. The 4 Seasons contracted the podcast to line up some rock shows on the patio of the 4 Seasons where you're paying hundreds of dollars a night for a room. And I'm like, okay, but this is a rock podcast, and I'm going to bring you rock bands. Are you sure that's what you want? They're like, yes, we want it. We want some great entertainment on the roof or the patio at the 4 Seasons. So I'm like, okay, that's what you
The
want.
veranda.
So I called the Warsaw Clinic, great buddies for a very long time, knew they would kill it. And y'all said y'all showed up and the bellhops were carrying y'all.
We couldn't park around back at the loading dock to make it indiscreet. So this ragtag rock and roll band shows up at the front door and is asking bellhops for carts so we can take our stuff.
We had to
to
tip
where
them
we had to go.
$25.
I didn't tip them shit. I didn't tip them nothing.
This is not
I'm
not
not going with
a
it.
disrespect to the 4 Seasons. It was just a learning experience. So the band gets set up, and
We played 3 songs, and they were like, "Look, this isn't going to work. People are calling from the rooms, complaining.
They're
are
loud.
like,
They're loud.
they're very disturbed
We're
by
loud.
this."
My band went up like 4 notches
Yeah.
by having these 2 in it, which is great.
Yeah, it went up louder when Eli joined, and then when I joined, it went up even louder.
Last night I was
because
like-
then everybody else has to get louder when I join. So the whole band
So I
gets
was like,
louder.
we can turn, whenever Eli leaves, we'll turn down his amp, and I'll turn down my amp, and turn
What?
down your amp. And I was like, we can't turn down the drums. So we all turned down a little bit because it was beating off the back of that garage, but
no,
yeah, we
and
got a
so
rock and roll drummer.
they start playing, and then they start getting calls left and right. Who the f- is this band playing on the rooftop or on the patio of the place we're paying hundreds of dollars a night? So the person that hired me to do it comes and I'm like, can you ask them to turn it down? I'm like, you do not ask a rock band to turn down.
I literally
the
saw
volume.
somebody's drapes
Lots of people
go.
do.
Somebody's drapes go.
It was really one of the most rock and roll moments I think that you could have.
It
Like,
felt
You
like
don't-
it felt like a store brand, off brand Beatles moment. When they were on the rooftop, that's what it felt like. It was like an off brand Beatles. It's like, hey, we're on a rooftop. but nobody wants to fucking hear us play right now.
And nobody came out to see it. It's
called Rain.
A couple people
Yeah,
came out.
it was
but
raining. That's another fun fact to add to the whole mix. It was raining.
people came out, but they came out to complain to our faces.
So we got offered that gig, I think first, and I was like, we can't do. There was something to date. I was like, get
That's
with
right,
Warsaw
that's
Club.
right.
That's right.
So,
That's
so
right.
I'm super glad that they got it.
This asshole.
And then the next
He
one.
knew
after
what he was
that-
getting into. He was like, I'm not doing it. Nuh-uh. Not happening.
I waited on it. It's like 4 seasons. Shit, yeah, let's do it.
And then the next one was just some singer. I mean, great people, but singer-songwriter. And
You were forced to tone it down.
They
a
were
little
much
bit.
happier with the James Taylor, Jimmy Buffett.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Fire and rain.
He
and-
loves Jimmy Buffett, by the way.
I do love Jimmy Buffett.
And James
absolutely. And James Taylor. My wife and I are big James Taylor fans. Yep. I love Jimmy Buffett. I grew up on
But-
Jimmy Buffett. Yeah.
I don't like Jimmy Buffett.
But that's just.
But see, Jimmy Buffett has a deeper.
No, we're not going to.
Next,
Jimmy
stop,
Buffett.
stop.
Margaritaville is a good iconic song, but that era of Jimmy Buffett and all those cheesy songs overplayed. He's a great songwriter. I'll leave it at that.
So y'all, Dusty, I had y'all on as the first guest in 2017, but you had been a band for a while before that, right?
We had, I think we released our first album in 2015. So it was 2 years later, and I think we had just reconnected in Atlanta as.
Because I was on Rock 100.5, y'all were a band in the scene, and when I started the podcast, I'm like, all right, this is gonna work.
Yeah,
Like,
and we were known each other since we were
very
know
little
each
kid.
other.
We grew up in Blairsville together, me and Dusty.
We did. And I was like, Jackson's on the radio. We need to, Jackson. We need to.
I know
reconnect.
that.
Kind of like when somebody wins a lottery, you call them. That's like, hey man,
I'm your cousin.
Jackson's on the radio and I'm in a band. Hey man, look.
It worked out perfectly. It took off from there.
It did. You read after we did the first one, you were like, "Hey, who else should we, actually get with?" And then I think that gave you one. What band doesn't want to go to a sweet studio and do a podcast just to
With
be
free
in there
beer.
and see stuff with free beer that you would always have, and then two, you got to meet all these bands, and then it gave you the opportunity to be the Atlanta Rock ambassador.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
now, okay, who else wants to be on it? Who else? And it was a great thing that happened organically.
The Future Babes gave me that name.
Oh, really?
Did they?
Yeah.
And that's a great name, and we have always said like if Jackson is an Atlanta Rock ambassador, but I love that you went and got with Carl. How do you pronounce the name? Last name? Olney?
Oligny.
Oh, Ligney, yeah.
Yeah, and then gave him an Atlanta Rock ambassador hat because if there's anyone that's second or close to the
Oh,
Atlanta
it's
Rock
Carl,
ambassador,
100%.
Oh, Carl's
we
the-
had literally because he's at
Yeah.
every show,
Yeah.
you know. And I was like, and you going and seeing him in the hospital and giving
Shout
him
out
a
to
hat.
shout out to Carl.
Carl
He's been down for oh my god,
We get done with
like
our show
months
and
and
then go
months
to, like
and
you
months.
said,
Oh, he'll go everywhere.
Yeah, he goes to
He's everywhere.
festivals.
I heard he got moved recently, so
Yeah, he's in
Good luck,
a
Carl.
rehab center now. He's out of the hospital, which is dope. But yeah, he's
Carl
been down.
is
If
Man.
Carl, if
Big
Carl
supporter of
is
rock
at your
music.
show, it is the best show in town that night. One night we were backstage, Eli and I with our other band. We were talking to the band Zix, ZYX, however you want to go, about Carl. It just came up organically, and we said, "Man, you know, Carl's everywhere. Carl's the guy." We were backstage talking about Carl organically, about how he is the fucking man.
He
you know,
is.
he is the shit.
is this a rated R podcast?
And
by
so
the way?
No.
it's whatever
he-
you want it to be.
okay,
so
cool.
he
Don't
uh,
cuss.
So we said if he's at your show, it's the best one of the night. We walk out of the green room at Star Bar. We go out into the main, and Carl is standing right there at the corner of the stage. And we all turned and looked at each other. We went,
Wearing a Misfit
Hell
shirt.
yeah.
"There he is! Look at that! Look at that! That's
And if he's
absolutely
not
great."
there, you're pissed off. Like I guess we're not.
He is absolutely one of the. He is probably the most respected person in the Georgia music scene.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's further than Atlanta. He's up in Woodstock. He's in Canton. He's everywhere.
He's down
He is-
in,
he- I
Ghana, too, a lot, too.
He's across the country at festivals. There's people that like offer to house him,
Yeah.
you know, in their RVs and stuff at these festivals because he's just, you know, this old guy that is very unassuming, and you would not think that he is who he is. And then you meet him, and he is just like this down-to-earth, nicest, sweetest guy, but he's into the music, dude.
Oh,
It's
he
dope.
loves it, and
Yeah.
he'll buy every shirt. You know.
Oh, yeah.
He'll buy a
CD,
shirt at every
autograph,
show.
We had shirts one time, And it was our first batch we had ever made, and we doing, you know, he had always been asking for a shirt, and we made a batch, and we made them off-white. And he goes, y'all have shirts tonight? He came to a show, and we were like, yeah. And he was like, oh, you know, let me see one. And I showed him, and he goes, oh, that's really cool. He said, but I only wear black. And I was like, well, he said, get a black shirt, and I'll wear one. So the next batch of shirts we made, we were like, we're making them black, damn it. Carl's going to get a shirt. Carl's going to get a shirt.
He's got
He
it.
has
You
a
know-
business card that he gives out at shows if he meets you.
Thank you, man.
And it has his name, social media, and I think his phone number.
Yeah.
And on the back, it just says music lover.
Yeah.
And it's how you can get in touch with him and stuff. It's dope. He's amazing.
You know,
Absolutely
Carl would never know this, and I was never going to say it, but when I went to see him in the hospital, he'd taken a nap, and I just had a conversation with him.
Were you like, hey, Derek, wake up?
No, while he was asleep, I just wanted to talk to him and say how
nice.
appreciative I was of him.
Yeah.
So he slept while I had this conversation with him, just saying, I'm so honored to have someone like you in the scene, like, because the 3-year hiatus that I took, I was so happy that he was just getting out there and doing that and filling that role and exceeding that role. And then he woke up, and we just had an incredible conversation.
It's a really cool gesture of you. I saw it, and I thought it was amazing.
He's just the nicest guy, and his wife Paula is just one of them, a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Letting him go
She's
out
an
all
amazing,
night?
Yeah, she's an amazing wife and partner to have to allow him to do what
Yeah.
he does every
Well, I
night,
mean, that's
to
when you get
support
to
that.
do it. If you're like,
Yep.
when I retire, I mean, your kids are grown.
They
you should
travel
be
the
able to go.
world. I wish I hope that when I'm their age that I have a place to go to in Mexico, that I can go to Portugal for a couple months and hang out. Like
Just pick up
that's
and go
awesome.
wherever you want.
Yeah, just leave.
Yeah.
Him and his wife went to Mexico. This was last year, or the year before last. Him and his wife were in Mexico hanging out. Their set vacation. He's like, honey, I got to catch a plane and fly back to the States because I'm going to a music festival, and then I'll fly back and meet you back in Mexico. And
Guess what?
It's like,
No kids.
no, yeah.
That's living the life. Like,
Yes,
that,
at least.
Yeah, he has kids, but they're much past the I need you stage. Yeah.
he's not changing diapers right now.
Shoo. Yep.
Nope.
Shoot it.
Anyway,
Oh, I know y'all have 3 acoustic songs that you want to play live, so I want to hear one right now. What are y'all going to play first?
War for peace, right?
War for Peace. Yeah. We got a song called War for Peace. It's off our most recent album. That one. And, yeah, that one up there. I don't know where that came from. Did we
I don't
leave
either.
that
I just saw it earlier.
I thought y'all put it up there.
here? Nice. We'll have to remember to get that.
That's expensive.
That needs to stay there forever. That needs
Oh, wait, we're good with that too.
We can
We're
leave
like
a
for
backdrop, but
advertising.
we can't leave a vinyl.
So yeah, we're gonna do "War for Peace." It's a song that I wrote. "War for Peace," somewhat of a anti-war song in the beginning, but then the second verse is more about kind of inner war for peace. You know, like you struggle. I think we all do somewhat to try and find peace altogether. Like.
With yourself.
With yourself, it's definitely not
Takes
an
an
easy
effort.
thing to do.
Takes effort.
Yeah, so it's a good one. It's a rocking one. I wrote it, and then I brought it to the band, and then Eli was like, "That sounds too much like Tom Petty, Honeybee. Let's do this." And I was like, "Okay." And then I was like, "Damn, that sounds good. Let's do that." So
That's right. I forgot about that.
yeah, it was. It was like, "Well, let's do this instead." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And Eli's the best at that, I think. Like, I'm a songwriter at heart, and I'll write stuff, and then Eli takes shit and makes it better.
Thank you.
Y'all give it up for the Ides of June and War for Peace.
Prepare for battle, no time for calm. Stand up your saddle, boy, gather up your guns. Ain't no denying the irony that we're out here fighting this war for peace. Bombs gonna break you and the tears are gonna fall. Mama's gonna cry while their babies learn to crawl. I praise the boys for fighting, but I do wish it would cease. So many people die. but dreaming of a life I've heard. No trouble sleeping, mama still on earth. My inner demons won't let me be. Deep down inside, never ease. Bombs are gonna break you and the tears are gonna fall. Mama's gonna cry now, and babies learn to crawl. I praise the boys for fighting, but I do wish it would cease. So many people dying in this world it's meant for peace. They say nothing lasts forever. Can you tell me what that means? Maybe forever's really nothing, and this life is but a dream. Sharp points are made for killing. We should round our points of view. Yes, we all must join the willing before our words are killed and true.
Wow.
Thanks, bro.
I love Austin's face when he's drumming.
Oh, dude, I turn around and look at him like, we're good.
It's like a turtle, huh?
We're killing this.
Hell yeah.
And that was off your most recent album?
Yep, Rising Tide, which is, 2023, I think.
Well, we recorded in 2019, 2020,
Oh,
and
we
then COVID
recorded-
happened.
COVID definitely affected
So there
it.
was that much time in
Yeah.
between recording and release.
I forgot all these songs. To be
We
honest.
recorded half of it and released half of it as an EP, and then recorded the other half just to stay present in the relevant in the market, because we hadn't put out anything for so long. But definitely our best work. It's off our latest LP, Rising Tide.
And so what are y'all working on right now?
Right now, we're still playing a lot of gigs, and I think we're trying to. I mean, we're still getting used to Austin playing with us. He's only been with us for 2 years, but the last year has been him learning all the songs and learning how we, mesh, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, we've wrote with Austin. We wrote 2 new songs.
Yeah.
We had
Yeah.
one that was written with
Right.
Nick, our last drummer. We've written.
I've never recorded anything.
Right.
Have
Fun
you
fact.
not recorded
Oh, no,
anything
you
with
did.
the Ides
You
of June
recorded
yet?
No, I'm talking about anything that you hear
That's
that's
out,
out and streamable or whatever for
We
the
have-
Ides of June. I didn't record any of that. So
So Eli, you
That's
came
all
on
different
before
drummers.
Austin did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, good.
I
bit.
came on in 2018.
18. Yeah.
This album's completely Eli's all it
Yeah,
on
I'm
every
on that,
song on
yeah.
this album.
So what was the conversation like as the Warsaw Clinic and with them being like, hey, we're going to go?
Well, they said we needed a drummer. I was like, I know one.
Yeah, and it's like they're already like known each other since they were 5,
Right.
and then played together in bands. It's like, do y'all want to be in another band together?
Mm-hmm.
Are y'all spending too much time together?
As I always say, I don't understand how bands can be in multiple bands because that just sounds.
I
Two is
couldn't
like-
be. There's no way I could.
I mean, I
Yeah.
could probably make time, but it would put a lot of tension in places I don't want it for a third. But I mean, 2 is a perfect number.
I'd get divorced if I played in 2
That's
bands.
what I mean. It would put tension somewhere if I had a third for sure.
Mr. No
Glad
Kings
we got
plays
in
in
there on the
3.
second one.
I don't know how you remember all those songs.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not hard really. It's 2 completely different vibes, 2 completely different bands, different guys, different styles of writing, different ways of practicing, just completely 2 different things, and that that also makes it. I guess an easier thing to do because it doesn't get monotonous. You have a different mindset going into each environment you're in with each different group. You have a different mindset, and
Each show is a different vibe.
each show is a different vibe. Every all that stuff is a completely different. People ask, how do I describe the Ides of June? And I tell them, I'm like, it's the Eagles, Leonard Skinner, and the Black Keys
Hell yeah.
That's not bad. That's not so bad.
with a sprinkle of the Allman Brothers on top. I said that's how I describe the Ides of June. It's it's just good. It's just good rock and roll music. There's nothing too heavy that your grandma wouldn't like.
Yeah.
But it's also
My grandma hates it.
it's also
She came to see us once. She didn't say that.
she says she loved it.
Well, y'all played Midnight Rider last night, right?
We did. Yeah, we're
and One Way Out.
One Way Out, two Allman Brothers tunes.
I like that one better.
As
than
I mentioned to
Midnight
y'all
Rider.
last night, my mom was the secretary at Capricorn Records in the 70s, and she was big friends with the Allman Brothers and the Marshall Tucker Band. And
Shout out to Jan Jan.
and you know my mom, she's very religious now.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And she will not tell me stories.
I need to meet 70s Jan Jan.
I don't think anybody wants to meet 70s Jan.
I do.
I do.
You don't,
I don't want to say
I would love to meet her and hang out. We probably have a good time.
Probably. So y'all take from, that's what I was just going to ask you when you were talking about Eagles, Leonard Skinner, and the Black Keys. Is that where y'all take influence from when you're writing music?
I think it's depending on, what we're working on. No matter what, if you learn, like the set list we're playing, I've not been playing near as long as these guys. So, like, my influences come from learning what we play, really, and that's what I know how to play. But we always, typically, if we're mentioning a sound of two bands, it's the Allman Brothers and the Black Keys, so I love that he said that. We have an older sound. This album has an older sound, I think, and it was something it just happened organically, right? We love classic rock. And, Black Keys is a little more modern, so we are trying to take, or I am, as a songwriter, on the new album, a little more modern approach, like the Black Keys or Gary Clark Jr. or the Raconteurs, or whoever you want to think of, which is still, they're
We just like rock. We like rock music, and
yeah, it depends on the rock music. But yes, we love, and it's the stuff from the 60s and 70s is classic, and like the Black Keys are modern, and they sound like something that should have been from back in the day.
Rock as a whole, not just the Atlanta rock scene, but even mainstream rock, huge uphill battle right now because, there have been a lot of great albums that came out in the last couple of years, but if you're not searching it and know about it, you'll never hear about it.
Right. Hip hop.
I think right now one of the biggest rising genres of music is country making a comeback.
Oh, they're the number one.
Huge.
Country's the number one genre.
country has always been
United
the
States.
top genre. It's been the sneaky top genre.
I love country music. I was born and raised on country and bluegrass.
Not the
And
stuff
when
on
I
the
met-
radio, though.
And when I met Eli at 5, his parents were my number one influence on rock and roll. And then, as I got older, my parents started playing more of the rock they were into as a kid, when they were younger. But I was raised on country music. But
Me too. There's great
him
country
and I
music.
had a bonding moment over Diamond Rio.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, Diamond Rio.
Oh, we sang it all the way to Murphy, North Carolina. It was like, you like Diamond Rio? Yeah, and then we just like singing
Love a little
songs
deeper, yeah, man.
Yeah,
Love a
songs
little
that two men
stronger.
shouldn't be singing together on the way to
all
a
right.
concert. I don't give a shit. I'm totally good with it.
Where we grew up in Blairsville, there were certain professions that most people went into. Most people worked for their dad's company or did certain
The
things.
EMC or the bank
Yeah.
or whatever it
Like
was.
entertainment was not like something kids grew up in Blairsville
Hell no.
wanting to do. That just wasn't a thing you knew about because we were so far from civilization back in that time. Because the nearest mall was an hour and a half away. The nearest big restaurant
Still
was-
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still is. We would go to Kennesaw, and I thought that was
Yeah.
Atlanta. Or Canton. They got food, chain food down there. There's a
Applebee's
Red
all-
Checkers.
Oh, my God.
There's an
I'd go down-
Applebee's
I'd go
off
down
the
to
exit. We
Atlanta.
have made it, mama.
I'd go down to Kennesaw and I'd be like, I'm in the big city now.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I told Cole that. I was like, I think it's exit 20. Just got the mall. And then it was exit 1. He got pissed at me. It's like, we thought that was Atlanta. It was Kennesaw. So.
But your family, you had a big musical influence.
Yeah, my Uncle Joel, he was, he played in Sunday Drive. He was, in a Christian band. But I loved their album. They had a number one hit, God is Believable, on the Christian charts, and another one. And both of his boys are both still playing. Josh has got a solo career, and then Cody.
Is the guitars for Ryan Bingham.
fucking Ryan Bingham.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty great.
Ryan Bingham from Yellowstone and big country musicians.
Yeah, he is. And they just sold out Red Rocks,
Yeah.
you know, like 3 or 4 months ago. I'm super proud of him and everything he's accomplished. So I didn't get started until I was 27. I wish I would have started way younger, but they were still, Joel was my, like, icon whenever I was little.
But as a whole, there was no musical influence in Blairsville. Like, that wasn't something that was talked about. Like, oh, you want to be a musician? You should go for it. You should go for it. You
Oh,
want
hell
to be,
no.
You want to be on, like, when I told my parents I wanted to be on the radio, they were like, what? Like,
And then you started in Athens. I remember. We were both
Yeah.
We followed each other evidently. We were like in Blairsville, and then we both ended up in Athens at the same time. I remember you were on the radio station there, and then both moved to Atlanta, and then you were on the radio station in Atlanta. It's like it was cool to see both of us chasing our. I didn't make a full profession out of mine like you did, so we're still working on that, but we'll get there.
are y'all showcasing right now
What do you mean?
to any labels or trying to?
We've got some demos we've sent to like 10 or 15 different labels, so we're gonna see how that goes, and if not, just self-release. You know, I mean, it's like also if we were to sign with a label, going and running off and touring all the time, they need to pay us good because we got babies to take care of at home. So
You
goal
gotta
would be to
make
play-
it worth the while.
yeah, the goal would be
You
to
know.
play music. My goal forever was play music. That's the only goal, you know, plan. And then I had kids, and it's like, this means a lot too, you know. So going and being away from your kids all the time and starting out touring, you're not going to make a lot of money. It's like once you start, the only way musicians make money anymore, it's not off record sales because it's Spotify and all that. It's off of touring and drawing crowds and
Merchandise.
all that. Yeah, merchandise.
Physical merchandise,
We
t-shirts,
got
and
merch.
stuff like that.
If anybody
One thing,
needs anything.
Vince Hornsby and I talked about, Vince Hornsby of Seven Dust, we were talking about at a show one night, is that the difference between being on a label versus putting it out yourself and the pros and cons of both. And you do have pros and cons. You know, self putting it out, you get to have control over it. When you get on a label, they tell you way more influence about what you should do, how you should sound. And that's one why I have such a problem with today's rock genres, because the labels are telling bands, y'all need to sound a little more poppy. Y'all need to sound a little more, you know, radio friendly.
Well,
They've done that
just-
forever. You
that's-
know, one band has a big hit, dude, and they're like, hey,
right.
Copy that.
copy that.
Yeah.
Listen,
Well,
either you write it or we'll find somebody to write
Yeah.
it, and then you'll perform it.
Exactly.
But that's a moneymaker, and we need to jump on that.
And also, a lot
You
of
know.
the big problem is like a lot of record labels require the artists to be able to connect with audiences, i.e., run social media. You know, and a lot of us,
That's the-
myself included, is like
yeah.
I can't run social media. I don't really give
Yeah,
a
as
shit.
a
Even on
band,
a
you
small
gotta be a-
level is like this.
You got to be a social media
Yeah.
person. You got to be a
Graphic designer.
booking person. You got to be a graphic designer. You got to be a
PR.
musician.
Yeah.
Like it would be great just to can write the music and,
And
play
play
the
it.
music,
And-
and that,
Yeah.
that would be the dream.
But being a band is not as sexy as people think.
No,
And
my
there-
wife was like, "Let's go. I want to go to the studio with you." I'm like, "No,
That's
you
the most
don't."
boring
wanna hear
thing
me
you'll
say
ever do
play
in your
this?
life.
We're gonna play this song 18 times. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's better than that.
You're gonna listen to us.
five times.
Well, you got to listen to it a lot, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's playing it over and over. It's all yeah.
And it's a
That's
great
why
basement.
bands don't have audiences at their practices.
Right.
No,
No, don't- we don't-
His cousins came and watched a couple times.
Yeah,
I feel
they're
bad
from-
for
As
them.
long as you
Propane,
sit in
though.
the corner and don't talk.
Yeah, you just shut up and
Just sit over there and just don't say nothing. Just do your thing. And
Nobody wants to come to our practices. My stepson doesn't even come down to hang out.
Yeah. He comes by and makes an appearance.
He's like,
He goes to his
"Hey."
room and he's like, "Hi, I'm out of here."
Keep it down, boys.
So
But yeah, I thought when I was getting into it was going to be,
no, it's
a
All
lot.
right, let's do a cheers real quick. We haven't done a
Cheers.
cheers
Yeah.
yet. Happy St. Patty's Day weekend, everybody.
Hey, I wore green today, baby.
And you know, I usually don't drink. Is somebody else gonna toast me?
Yeah,
Toast
absolutely.
him.
I'll cheers you down,
Reach
bro.
across the table we lie and toast my
Bend
friend.
your arm.
Go Gadget.
Stretch Armstrong.
I don't usually drink during the podcast now. It's a rule I have. But I'm
But
like,
look at your
How's
ass
that
over
going?
there.
You know we're alcohol.
but I'm 11% Irish according to Ancestry.com, and
So it's a weekend of celebration.
That's right.
That's kind of
So-
alarming that you're
sponsored by a
100%
brewery.
Irish.
I'm also sponsored
You're
by a brewery.
100% Irish? Is that what you said?
No,
11.
11.
11.
Oh my
11.
fucking god. Okay.
11.
I'm 1% Basque.
Yeah.
You 1% what?
Basque.
What is that?
2%.
I heard it on a Last Man Standing
My
episode.
wife is 5% Mexican, and I take that as 50.
He
Have a lot of passion.
loves Mexican music and everything.
Culture. I
Mexican.
love Mexican stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Asa and I are going to Mexico next month.
Really?
Nice.
Do it.
What
It's
part?
the best. I support it.
Playa del Carmen.
Right there on the
He knows.
right.
You know everything about Mexico.
Just that little Gulf Coast area.
My
Like, all the
wife's
American
walks-
tourists know
walks
about
the
it.
peg.
Everybody knows. Yeah. It's I just growing up, I was always fascinated with like listening to like the cumbia and like Tejano style Mexican music. Like as a kid, I remember going on the radio and like tuning the radio to like 102.3, and that was the Mexican station. And I would put it on, and my family thought it was funny, but I was like, I'm jamming to this. Like this is like,
And I'm hungry.
this is awesome. Yeah, that makes me hungry. Now it makes me hungry. No,
Every
anyway,
week, for sure.
but anyway, as long as I can remember, I've always just loved it. And as I've gotten older, yeah, just Mexican food, like authentic Mexican food. My wife and I got married in Mexico. We got married in Cozumel
On 420?
on 420, and
Which is not a Mexican thing.
that's not a Mexican thing. But while we were in Mexico, we got 420 paraphernalia. Anyway, so we had a great time.
You need to move to an island
To an island.
or an island area.
Dude, if I could afford
Australia.
the Florida, if I could afford the Florida Keys, I'd go tomorrow. But I can't,
Babysitters. So you got babysitters around here.
what? Here?
Yeah.
Well, look, if I can afford the Florida Keys, I can afford a nanny.
Yeah.
So I ain't got to worry about it. All right, but that's what I mean. If I
Austin's
could
got
go,
a 10-year plan.
yeah, and it doesn't include the Florida Keys, my friend. I'm sorry, but maybe somewhere other than Buford. But yeah, absolutely, I could do island life, not a problem.
So I want to get to the second acoustic song you want to play. What do you
right.
want to play next?
You want to call my name?
Drift away.
Just wait, whatever.
I'm good with either. Y'all battle it out.
Are y'all
Rock,
going
paper,
to
scissors.
perform an acoustic version of something I played on Homebrew?
We are not. We could have. Me and Alex usually did Mercy, but we didn't
we're
rehearse
short
it.
a member that sings it.
Yeah, we're missing Alex, an incredible guitarist
We
for
miss
the
you.
band. You know, because he just for some reason had to book a gig today.
Yes.
Alex is the only one of us who makes music a full-time gig.
And Alex is very smart and great conversationalist, so we're
Yep.
kind of missing him today.
He has extreme FOMO for not being here.
Yeah.
And then once he found out we were playing acoustic, he was like, I'm going to
I
try
know
and
it.
come. And then I told y'all, like, I'm going to try and come. And then it stressed Andrew out and everybody. And I'm like, he's not coming anymore. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
All right, so Drift Away, is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, give it up for the Ides of June and Drift Away.
So we wrote this song. I wrote this song about my wedding because it was I felt like we don't have any happy songs much. Blues rock isn't that happy. But our Bruno wrote this song, and I was like, "What was the happiest day of my life?" And it was an awesome day. So it's about North Georgia and the Appalachian Mountains, which made me happy too.
Ready?
Yep. Way up in northern Georgia, near that North Carolina, my family's swinging and swaying, we're feeling divine. One look around, and brother, what do I see? All of the people we love, loving my woman and me.
Let's all drift away.
Good times are calling,
Let's all drift away.
dancing through the day.
Let's all drift away.
Oh, the night is falling.
Let's all drift away.
Let's drift away. Headphones roll over from Athens, Nashville, Tennessee. Cruised up from Atlanta, son, we've got to be free. That old Appalachia where we like to unwind, drinks up, head down, and try to slow down the time.
Let's all drift away.
Good times are calling,
Let's all drift away.
dancing through the day.
Let's all drift away.
Oh, the night is falling.
Let's all drift away.
Let's drift away.
No, guys, it was just pointed out to me that we have a lot of empty cups on the tables.
That's okay.
And I'm like, this looks like a party episode, but what people won't understand watching is
Us getting drunker by the minute.
is y'all, we've known each other since we were all basically kids. Like, in our 20s, before kids, before marriage. Like, I feel like I'm 27 again right now talking to y'all.
Yeah.
And
I'm only 30.
are you only 30?
Yeah.
God, then you were like 22 when we first met.
Oh, they talk shit to me about how old I am all the time. It's like, Uncle
He turns
Desmond,
40
boy.
this year.
I do
We're
turn
going to go
40
to
in a
New
couple
Orleans
months.
and we're going to ring it in right. But he turns 40.
I do.
He's the papaw of the band, dude.
The Papaw.
That's Papaw Dusty right there, buddy.
I have been for a while. For like when I was younger, I hung out with older people, and I was like the baby. And now it's
Now
not
he's
that
the older
way.
guy we're hanging out with.
That's what getting. And how old are you, Austin?
I'm 30.
30.
They're
I'll be
the same
31
age,
in
yeah.
Oh, yeah, nice.
So 10 years between us, and then Alex's is like right in the middle.
Yeah.
Wait, I started playing when I was 23. Can you believe that? Or 24? Can you believe that?
Who?
I was 24 when I started playing.
What?
24, 25. Yes. With the Ides of
Oh,
June.
yeah, with the Ides of June.
With
I'm
the
about to
Ides,
say,
yeah.
Well, we're talking
So
about
yeah,
our
almost
band.
6 years. Yeah.
Didn't you learn how to sing by singing in the car?
I did 100%. I was like, just put on an album and then try to sing, and then you got to turn the album
lie.
music
That
down
is
because it's
false.
way better if the music's loud.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks they sound good. And then I was like, turn it down. I was like, oh, that sounds like shit.
So did you do any singing before you decided to start singing for this band?
Not at all. Me and Clay started the band, and then I was like, we were like, who's gonna sing? And I was like, not you, motherfucker. I'll do it.
I love Clay.
I do too.
Clay
But we were
is-
like both learning, and that's
you,
what we
Clay.
did. 2012, we're like, we're gonna play.
Well, you and Clay were the first two on. Right?
were, yeah, and then we
and
found-
it was so official back then. I had like a sheet for Dusty and Clay of like questions we were gonna go over, and I gave each of them a sheet.
There is no paper behind this little thing, by the way.
There's
We are-
nothing. This is all just
Unscripted.
candid,
Yeah,
unscripted.
we are Robin Williams in
Empty-
this.
empty
Brought to you
This
by
is
Blue
off
Chew.
air, yeah.
There was no talk of what we were gonna do because I've just known these guys for so long. I'm like, we're just gonna turn the mics on.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about if we could carry on a conversation
Yeah.
for an hour.
We're gonna get to a third acoustic performance from y'all. So right now, are you just focusing on shows? Are you writing? Are you collaborating on it?
All of it.
All of it.
above.
All of the above, yeah.
We got some good gigs coming up. We're getting to open for Gene Simmons down in Peachtree City.
Yeah.
What?
And,
Yeah. You didn't know
May
that?
2nd. Yeah, May 2nd.
May 2nd,
We're
we're
going to
opening for
open
Gene
for
Simmons at
Holy
the Friend.
shit.
So that's great. We got a run to Greenville where we're going to play
3rd, 4th, and 5th of April
3rd, 4th, and 5th of April. We're going to play downtown Greenville. Then we're going to play a Harley Davidson
in Anderson.
And a
in
frat
Anderson,
party.
South Carolina, and then a frat party, which pays really well.
Yeah.
Gotta pay those
Frat
dues.
parties pay well?
Yeah,
Oh,
they do.
fuck.
Oh wow.
Heck yeah.
Frat parties, I mean, my God, their dues are more than my mortgage.
All right. What to end the episode? What is going to be y'all's third acoustic performance?
We're going to let Eli sing "Call My Name,"
Yep.
which he wrote himself.
Oh, these
So this
beautiful vocals of Eli. All right.
Don't
Give it
make me
up. What's
look
the song
bad.
called?
is "Call My Name."
Give it up for the Ides of June and Call My Name.
Ready?
Yeah.
Baby girl, play another wiser, great compromise. Oh no, acting like you feel ashamed, playing like it's all the same. Then I swear I heard you call my name, and it tore through my heart just the same. That torment driving me insane. Yeah. Down the whiskey, out comes a fire. Falling back to you won't take me higher. Playing my cards, cause I'm not afraid. Taking all you got and fade away. And I swear I heard you call my driving me insane. Oh, yes, you driving me insane.
Eli, that was sexy.
Thank
He
you.
didn't say that to me either.
Damn, Dustin.
I know. He loves sexy.
Hey,
That was great. God.
great.
Thanks for having us, bro.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Make sure to search the Ides of June on Facebook, Instagram. Do y'all have specific handles for that? Is it just the Ides of
At the Ides of June. And then on Facebook, the Ides of June. We got a website, www.theidesofjune.com.
Spotify, Apple Music, wherever
Yeah.
you listen to
Amazon.
it. Yeah, wherever you listen
Pandora.
to it.
YouTube, anything.
If you want to check out the first 105 episodes of the Scope podcast,
He's cut
this
off.
QR code right here, the episode 106, 107, and soon to be 108 with the Ides of June, you can find on the far QR code. That is the link to our YouTube show. This is to our audio only, which, of course, the Ides of June were the first guests that we ever had on. So make sure to check it out. Thank you to Doghouse Atlanta for being our audio video gurus, and thank you to my wife Aisha for being amazing, and thank you to the Ides of June. Thank you to Dusty for this friendship we have continued for years.
Thanks for having us, brother.
And
Thank you, Jackson.
thank you for your support. And that
Miss
I
Jackson. I'm going back to Jackson.
Used, you know,
I'm
I
sorry.
I used to say at the end of the episodes, "Wear something tight." Do y'all remember that?
Oh, 100%.
I can't do it anymore. It's like I outgrew it, and I don't know why, but I can't bring myself to say next time wear something tight.
So do we have a new tagline?
Just we're done. We're done.